Is it silver's time to shine? Quite possibly. Let's take a look at the price of gold, silver, and platinum. It's TA Tuesday, and this is brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. My name's Joe. We're going to start with silver today, and you can click ahead using the time codes to gold and platinum. Silver on the monthly time frame, we're priced in US dollars. We use US dollars because it's the world's reserve currency, and it is the tradingview.com website. Let's pop on the indicators, and let's take a look very, very clearly at that symmetrical triangle pattern we've been talking about for the last few weeks at least. So a beautiful move down to this trend line, which we've also been talking about. Beautiful move right there, clear support level, $19.90, $20 even you can call it. And just in the last couple of weeks, a brilliant little green candle, again on the monthly time frame. We have not yet broken out of this symmetrical triangle pattern, but it's getting closer and closer. As I said last week and the week before, you never get to the very corner here. This is the end of the year, so I'm going to call it very easily by the end of August, start of September, but probably before then. Is it silver's time to shine now? I think quite possibly this is my personal bias, and it's not financial advice, of course. I also think silver is going to continue to shine against gold for a little bit longer. It's based on the gold to silver ratio. We'll come to that in just a second. So a lovely move, and we're still near the top of where we've topped out here for the month so far, because it's Tuesday, March the 28th in Australian time, so we've only got a few more days till the end of the month. So if we continue up a little bit more, say maybe up to past your $23 level, around about this level here, it opens up April to be a green month. Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily think that staying around this level or closing around this level for March would mean that we head down from there. That's the main reason why I'm biased to the upside for the next month, but also, of course, because of the continuing bank crises, etc., which is pushing the price of gold up. So in general, where gold goes, silver tends to follow. So those two reasons. Let's pop into the weekly. We'll take a look at the relative strength index, but also you can see here, so far we've opened the week. We are a little bit down, we're red, but it has had a nice little wick down. But of course that could change because we're at the very start of the week. It's Tuesday. So just keep that in mind. The support levels I would want to see hold would be right here, somewhere between $22.50 and $22. So anywhere within that purple box would be an area of support if this week continues to be a red week, and possibly even the next week. But I think silver will be its time to shine very, very soon. Will it happen this week? Not quite sure. My bias, again, as I said, for next month is for it to break, but I could be wrong. So that's why we always give you the up targets and the down targets. Again, support level around about your $22.50 to $22 level at this stage if we do break down. And like we were speaking about last week, and certainly for a while, if we break up next month, just starting in a few days' time, if we break up, the clear resistance level for me is the infamous $26 level. Why is that, you ask? Well, for the newbies, if you're just new to the channel, first off, welcome. And 26, very, very clear level of support going back to 2011 all the way through 2013. We never thought it would break that. It was a huge narrative, the $26 narrative, never again, and then it did. So it's a major level of resistance in my humble opinion. Even though we did break above it, it's been a failed move to hold as support each and every time. So this has to break, come up, and hold. So your next level here, if we do break up, if we have a green month in April, and we break out of this symmetrical triangle pattern in April, then that's going to be the clear level of support, and it would actually be the clear level of support even if we break it down here in August, for example. So next clear level of support, resistance I should say, I just said support, clear level of resistance is at $26. But I'm going to stick with my bias for next month to potentially break out. It might be the month that it happens. Now let's talk about silver in relation to gold. This is where I think silver is really shining at the moment. For the month of March on the gold to silver ratio, we topped out at 92 roughly, and a very steady decline in the gold to silver ratio, meaning that silver is outperforming gold. As it goes up, gold's outperforming silver. As it goes down, silver is outperforming gold. So for example, if you're all silver, if you're an all silver bug and you really want to get your hands on lots of gold later on down the track, what you're doing is you're following the gold to silver ratio, and you're hoping that this goes down and down and down and down as humanly possible, because later on down the track you'll be able to swap your silver for lots more gold when it's down at this ratio, other than if you had have just been buying gold. So people buy silver because they think it will appreciate. People also buy silver because they're actually secretly gold bugs, but they think that the gold to silver ratio will go down further and they'll swap their silver for gold. Hope that makes sense. But in the last month or so, or since the start of March, clear movement down in the gold to silver ratio, meaning silver is outperforming gold. And the clear support level here, the first one here is at 83.50. You might see a bounce right there. Breaking down through there, you've got this rectangular box, and it's somewhere between 82.2 and 80.5. And this is why I think silver will have its time to shine, at least in the next few weeks, and possibly in the next month as well. So if you're looking at this on a pure technical analysis point of view, again, this is the monthly time frame of the gold to silver ratio. So coming down to here, it's unlikely that, or I should say, it's more likely that you would have a second month of, because it was only a few days until the start of April, it's more likely that you'll have a second red month, or at least a dip, before it becomes a green month. So that's why I think definitely room to move down, at least in the next couple of weeks. That's why I think silver, it's its time to shine at the moment. So I hope that makes sense. And of course, if we break down, just out of interest, if you're following the gold to silver ratio, breaking down further, if we just head down and down and down, and silver just goes absolutely great guns in relation to gold, then next support level is here at 75. That's a big one. I would probably suggest that if we're coming to 75, it's more likely to be taken out, seeing as though it was a major support level beforehand, and then you'd be coming down to this major support level right here of 70. Again, on the gold to silver ratio, you can see that it's resistance here, it's been support level, it's been a support level here, so that's a big one at 70. Moving below 70, we'll talk about that another time. So let's go back to the silver priced in USD. And I did want to show you the relative strength index. It is here on the weekly time frame. I'll show you the daily time frame. So bear in mind, and we do have to show each side of the coin, of the pure bullion silver coin, is the relative strength index on the daily time frame. We have already been in oversold territory. We've going through the cycle of heading up into overbought territory. Doesn't mean we always spend time. If you look over here in extremely extra overbought territory, you can have a lot of times where you bounce up against this level here at around about your 70 mark on the relative strength index, and then it heads back down. So we are getting into that area. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I am still biased towards silver breaking this symmetrical triangle pattern next month. I'm not going to call it 100%, but it's just my bias. We just do need to take into account the relative strength index on the daily time frame. Certainly room to move though. You can certainly head up into overbought territory, which might push silver out of this symmetrical triangle pattern. Let's take a look at relative strength index on the weekly time frame. Well, very clearly you can see we came up here to around about that 64 mark. That's a clear level of resistance on the relative strength index on the weekly time frame, down to this support level right here around about your 40 level right there, and we are ticking up, so there is room to move up as well. So again, I'll stay biased to the upside for April. I think that could be the month in which we just go great guns and start heading towards the $26 level. Again, I'll give it more than a 50% chance. That is just my bias. That is the price of silver. Let's take a look at the price of gold. We're doing it the other way around today. Gold on the weekly time frame, you can see here on the relative strength index, We have gone into overbought area right here, and then we came back down as support here at the halfway level between oversold and overbought. It was a bounce. Could this be a double top in the relative strength index? Well, quite possibly. Let's take a look at the price on the weekly time frame. It's a red week so far, although what you're seeing right here is a nice little hold and a beginning of a trend line. Let's show you on the daily time frame. You can see that very easily. So this needs to hold. You can see that right there. And let's pop that little trend line in right here. So are we in the beginning? Interesting. Are we in the beginning of a symmetrical triangle pattern which may play out until around about and this is on the daily time frame, so does this play out until around about your first week of April? Quite potentially. If we do break below here, then we are going to see lower prices. Breaking lower on the daily time frame, my clear, and you can see it right here, my clear little level here is at 1900 US dollars. That's the next major support level. You would want to hold that area and break higher. Otherwise, we are going to go down lower. I won't talk about the lower prices. I'll just mention 1900 is your support level at this stage for gold. I will stick with symmetrical triangle pattern for the moment. It's playing out, so we just need that to hold. Could this potentially be a double top? Maybe, but I'll hold the symmetrical triangle pattern as the major pattern for the moment. If we do break above, and in the next couple of weeks we go higher, then we have been talking about this level of 2120 to 2130 as the next major significant resistance level, and you can watch the previous video for that. Do take into account we have to look at the relative strength index. So on gold, as opposed to silver, with gold we have gone into the extremely overbought territory, and it looks like we are tracking it down. So we will keep the symmetrical triangle pattern here for the moment. It has not broken that formation, but odds are that it is more likely that it does break that formation to the downside, because we have gone into overbought territory on the relative strength index, and a clear support level on the relative strength index is the halfway point. You can see it right there. So you could potentially see a bounce, a move down to 1900. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you could see a break down of the symmetrical triangle pattern down to 1900, that is, and that happens to coincide with the halfway point right here, support level on the relative strength index on the daily time frame. I will look at this on the weekly. Yeah, and we talked about this on the weekly as well. Possible double top in the relative strength index. You do want to see this halfway point remain as support, most definitely. And let's take a look at it on the monthly time frame, and I will get rid of this symmetrical. I'll get rid of that just for a second so you can see it a little bit better. You can see that so far for the month we have not closed below 1,960 US dollars. I would suggest if we do close the month lower than this wick right here, and the high it's around about 1,960. If we close below 1960 for the month of March, then I'm going to suggest that we probably head a little bit further down in August. If we close above, that's looking better, but that main symmetrical triangle pattern is the one that we want to hold, and you can see there, I did put that in but I just deleted it. You can go back and look at that, but just do bear in mind we are topped out, overbought on the relative strength index on the daily time frame. Room to move down is definitely possible. That is gold. We've done silver. We've looked at the gold to silver ratio, and let's quickly look at platinum. 980 US dollars, and I've popped in this little trend line right here. I think I had it drawn in actually last week as well. And if you take a look, zoom it in a little bit, it looks like another symmetrical, a little mini symmetrical, ascending triangle pattern is playing out right here. If I draw this in yellow, you can see that. So right there, that looks like it might be playing out. We have not broken down through this area right here. I'll pop onto the 4 hourly. We will take a look at the relative strength index as well. I would consider that, you see these two little wicks down right here? I would consider that not a break of the ascending triangle pattern just yet. Why do I say that? Have a look down, because they are wicks and they both closed, they all closed above this uptrend line right here. If this had have closed below and opened the next 4 hourly time frame, then I would have said, yeah, we're heading down, but it both closed above. So technically not a break of, in my humble opinion. If you disagree, pop a comment below. So I think we're in an ascending triangle pattern. This needs to hold right here. And as I was talking about last week, you've got the major downtrend line. You've got this psychological value of $1,000. That's the current mini resistance level. And then you've got the major downtrend line I've shown you about 10 million times, going back to February of 2008 right here. So that is the major downtrend line that we need to break and hold and come back at and hold as support. It has not done it on any time frame yet. For quite some time it hasn't done it yet. So on the weekly time frame though, little spike down, so that's positive so far. So I'm going to say for the moment platinum is looking the most positive out of silver and gold as well. So out of all of the three metals, at least for the next week or so, platinum's looking the most positive. We do want to see it hold this trend line right here, and if it was to break now, you want to hold $970 basically, in my opinion. You do not want to close below this trend line right there, and I will leave it at that because I really need to see this long-term downtrend line. There's no point talking about the higher prices until this is broken, and then we come back and see this as support, and then we'll do a larger macro view of where we think platinum could go. I actually did do that though in a video on the channel, and I'll show you right here for platinum. I actually did it for all of the videos. We did platinum, we did silver, and we did gold, the sort of longer term yearly price forecast for the year. And what I'll do, I will put them in I'll put the links below. So there was a platinum one, a silver one, and a gold one, a price forecast, price prediction for 2023. And so I did give those price targets. I actually think I've still got them drawn in right here, but do check out the video. I'll put a link above and I'll put it in the info section and in the pinned comment. That is silver, gold, and platinum for the week of March 28th, 2023. You'll get another Technical Analysis Tuesday coming next Tuesday. Of course, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Why? Because of these TA Tuesday videos, our informative product highlights, of course, the weekend wrap-up. If you don't have time to watch, our 1 or 2 videos per day, just wait till a Saturday afternoon, and you'll get the Ainslie's weekend wrap-up, where we just give you a distilled version of what we covered. And if there's anything in particular that takes your fancy, then you can just click the link and then you can watch that particular video. So Ainslie's weekend wrap-up, of course, our weekly Gold Silver Standard Insights videos, and don't forget our specials of the week. You don't want to miss those because you get a special every single week, usually on a Thursday at the moment. That's it. I want you to like, I want you to share, and I want you to subscribe to the channel. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care, and we'll speak to you next time.